So I recently went down the rabbit hole of this thing called USA Store Fannon Wiki, and it says on their front page that they are a fictional universe. But basically, the reason I went down this rabbit hole is I was looking for information on the Kmart by Kennywood when I saw that it had been demolished, and I wanted to see what they currently use as their storage building because, like, Kmart is a fascination of mine as well. So, like, for double reasons, I had wanted to see that for years, and was looking for information on it when I saw it was demolished to see what the current storage area was, to see if it was still an abandoned building. But as far as Kmart locations go, I stumbled upon the Store Fannon Wiki and eventually found out that they have amusement parks on here too, including amusement parks that in the real world have closed, and what they would probably look like if they would have continued in their prime. So I mean, I'm gonna be reacting to a couple of parks that I found in this USA Store Fannon Wiki. So the first one I'm going to be reacting to is Six Flags Worlds of Adventure, also known as Geauga Lake. Now, I am going to preface this. In the real world, I know that Six Flags Worlds of Adventure never would have beaten Cedar Point because, well, it's basically like expecting the best way I can describe Six Flags Worlds of Adventure is if Hershey Park had the Great Escapes entrance into the parking lot, because they built it up that quickly, and what was previously an adequate country road and a motel, and a small motel, now had to serve a huge mega park. So, like, I mean, actually not unlike Great Adventure, but I mean, at least that has a 4-lane highway get you into the park. So like, I mean, I can't imagine what the poor infrastructure at Worlds of Adventure would have looked like. But I'm going to react to what they had on the wiki, and then I'll tell you what I added to the wiki myself. So I'll try to give a serious review for stuff I've ridden, like, say, Batman Night Flight. I've ridden that in the real world, so, like, I'll give a serious review of rides like that, but I'll also talk about things that have been added that I think are cool, and I'll give my thoughts on that, and I'll try to be serious with what my thoughts on the coasters would be, but, I mean, do understand that in the real world, there is no way that Six Flags Worlds of Adventure would have beaten Cedar Point. And, like, I mean, infrastructure is one reason, and the fact that Cedar Point actually owned so many hotels on property is the other. Because, I mean, why would someone have chosen to go to Worlds of Adventure and have to stay 40 minutes away or something when you could have gone to Cedar Point and stayed either on property, or if you wanted to budget, you could stay at a hotel in town that would take you less than 10 minutes to get to the park. Even if you had to do a fairly lengthy drive on that causeway, you still were less than 10 minutes away, so that's pretty good. So anyway, let's get to what the USA Store Fannon Wiki has Six Flags Worlds of Adventure looking like. So at the top for rides I did not add is Batman Night Flight. Well, Batman Dark Night Flight. Apparently it was renamed for the 2008 season to go with The Dark Knight when the Nolan Dark Knight movie was released, from originally being Batman Night Flight from 2000 to 2007. So I've ridden this ride, and it's probably the most intense floorless coaster I've ridden. Like, I mean, on those S-turns, I legit grayed out So like it's a great floorless coaster. I'll put it that way. Double Loop, an aerodynamics double looping steel coaster. This looks like a pretty bad ride, but it's a classic, so I can understand why the park keeps it. El Diablo, a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, added in 2012. Yeah, I mean, I can see this happening, and I think it's a good fit for this park, and it's a pretty good ride. Also, Big Dipper, of course, the John A. Miller wooden coaster that that was the ride that really made Geauga Lake, the park that was there before Six Flags Worlds of Adventure, a park in the first place. You've got Flashback of Vekoma Boomerang, which was formerly known as Mind Eraser from 1996 to 2000. You've got... those are two that I've added. You've got The Joker, a Gerstlauer spinner, formerly known as Tony Hawk's Big Spin. I mean, I'm assuming that this would be comparable to Pandemonium at Six Flags New England and other Six Flags parks. So it's an okay family coaster. Mind Eraser, a Vekoma SLC, formerly known as Serial Thriller. Oh, Six Flags, renaming a ride to be a name that had previously been in your park that you got rid of. Oh, Six Flags. And using a name from the Premier Parks era for your Vekoma SLC. I mean, to be honest, I see this more going the way of Riddler Revenge at Six Flags New England, where a park like Worlds of Adventure would be probably the flagship park. So if they have an SLC, they'd probably want to make sure it's the best SLC possible, or it would have been relocated to another Six Flags park. So that's one thing that I think is not realistic. But then again, we're talking about a world where Six Flags Worlds of Adventure beat Cedar Point. So I mean, but still, having an SLC over a Batman the Ride clone at your flagship park, I mean, Superman Ultimate Flight, an Intamin Impulse coaster formerly known as Superman Ultimate Escape. You know, why you have to rename it? I mean, that just feels like it's a cheap gimmick on the part of Six Flags so that they can try to pretend they have a new ride. Villain, a CCI wood steel hybrid coaster, retracked by RMC in 2012. I can see that. And oh, I forgot to mention Roadrunner Express and Iron Wolf. So Roadrunner Express, which is, of course, that's the Zero Steel Kitty coaster. So yeah, not much to say about it. Iron Wolf, an RMC hybrid coaster reusing the wooden structure of the former Raging Wolf Bobs. Yeah, that definitely would have happened, and I think it would be a good fit for the park. So I mean, and Villain, it would probably be a great CCI. Now let's get to the coasters that I added to this list. So Aquaman Power Wave, added in 2023. The park's newest coaster, a power splash from Mock Rides, features a custom layout so riders can board on the wildlife side of the park with a low-to-the-ground turn into a big spike before a high-speed switch track directs you into a splashdown in the lake. I mean, this sounds pretty cool, and of course, the launch is backwards, so that when you're going up the spike, you can then go down forward and into the splashdown there, and then it features a turntable in the station so that you can get your backwards launch again. And I like that you're boarding on the wildlife side so that you have a ride over there, and people who are there for the rides, they have a reason to go over there. And of course, it starts with that low to the ground turn because you've got height restrictions on the wildlife side of the park. So you've got to have a custom layout to make it so that you can have the spike on the wild rides side to appease height restrictions. So what else did I add? I added the Flash, a near clone of Cedar Point's Top Thrill Dragster, except taller and faster. Was the tallest and fastest coaster in the world when it opened, although it would lose the height record when polar coasters were introduced, and it lost the speed record to Formula Rossa. So yeah, because we're operating in a fictional universe, I decided to make it so that, yes, the polar coasters were built in this universe, and obviously this is King Dakar, but renamed as the Flash, because of course it's Six Flags. They're gonna do DC. You're gonna notice a theme with some of my additions is that I gave the Great Adventure expansion to Worlds of Adventure. The Great Adventure expansion from 2005 to 2006. You'll know that's a spoiler for one of the other coasters that's on here. But yeah, I gave that expansion to Six Flags Worlds of Adventure because honestly, with the quality rides that were added to Great Adventure in that time span, I can see that having originally been planned for Six Flags Worlds of Adventure. And given that Ohio is not New Jersey, I think you'd see the Flash with lap bars, and you would see it being better than Top Thrill Dragster. You would not see a break on the top. So yeah, that's how I think that would go. Harley Quinn Crazy Coaster. I'm trying to be realistic with how Six Flags would name their coasters. Added in 2020, and that's Rocky Mountain Construction's first T-Rex, known for towering over the Joker, which that's the Gerstlauer spinning coaster, and providing its riders with a near miss with the track of the Joker. And it features 35 seconds of airtime and the world's biggest zero-G stall. Yeah, this sounds like an awesome ride that I want to get on. So let's also El Toro, added in 2006. What did I tell you? A custom prefabricated wooden coaster from Intamin, the only wooden coaster in the world to feature a cable lift, features many extreme pops of ejector airtime. Standing but not operating since August 2021 when it derailed, although the park has confirmed it will reopen at some point in 2022. So yeah, I basically copy and pasted El Toro from Six Flags Great Adventure for this one, and I've ridden El Toro, so that's a great ride, and it's one I want to get back on someday, although I know it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, since I now have all the credits from Great Adventure, and I mean, I don't know if I want to spend my money going back to that park, because it's fucking expensive to do so, and especially with the way Six Flags is redoing their season passes next year for a real world thing. Like, I don't want to be paying a monthly fee. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be getting back on it soon, but it's a ride I want to get back on. I only got to ride it twice, but yeah, it's an epic ride. I don't know if the Worlds of Adventure version would have the same layout, because it would be custom designed for the plot of land that it would be built on. And The other coaster that I added to the park, Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth, added in 2003. A Giga coaster constructed by Intamin, was the tallest, fastest, and longest coaster in the world when it opened, although it would lose the tallest and fastest records to Cedar Point's Top Thrill Dragster 3 weeks after it opened. In fact, the park opened early that season so that they could claim they had the world's tallest and fastest coaster. Although it, to this day, holds the record as the world's longest roller coaster. So, yeah, that's our coaster lineup for Six Flags Worlds of Adventure, and I also edited the code above to say that the hypercoaster they were planning to add became Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth. So yeah, this looks like an awesome park that I'd say probably beats certainly Cedar Point of the era from what this would have been in 2006. Oh, and on the former attractions, X-Flight was removed in 2019 because the ride had reached the end of its service life. So, very familiar with that one. So, but anyway, yeah, like, I mean, what this park has, like, I mean, even for a Six Flags park with some standard Six Flags attractions and standard family attractions, you've got El Toro, you've got The Flash, you've got Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth, you've got Iron Wolf, you've got Harley Quinn Crazy Coaster, you've got a pretty deep lineup of coasters of at least you've got Batman Dark Knight Flight. You've got a really deep lineup of great. You've got the Villain. You've got Iron Wolf. I don't know if I mentioned that one, but you've got a really deep lineup of great coasters, and so yeah, I mean, I'd visit this park. Does it beat Cedar Point of today? Like, I mean, based off of other factors like hotels on the property and the entry road, like, we know Six Flags doesn't like to spend money on the entry road because, I mean, the reason that The Great Escape doesn't get new additions is because there's an ordinance that Six Flags would have to widen the road outside of the park if the park started causing traffic jams, and Six Flags sees that as an expense that they don't want to pay for. So I mean, yeah, but still, it's fun to fantasize about stuff like this, and fantasize about what Six Flags Worlds of Adventure might look like if it were operating today. And you know what? I don't think this is all that unrealistic.